Most mistakes in the sea happen before people even touch the water. Not because they can't swim, because they failed to prepare properly. And trust me, preparation is not paranoia. Preparation is respect. One thing I learned over time was that confidence without preparation becomes dangerous very quickly. Before every serious swim, I always wanted multiple options. A plan A, a plan B, and you know what? Ideally, a plan C. And that's got nothing to do with the fact that I expected disaster, because I didn't. But because conditions can change incredibly fast. And that's the thing about open water people that they underestimate. The environment is alive. A calm sea can become aggressive. Visibility can disappear. Current direction can shift. Energy levels can collapse. Maybe you didn't feel as strong once you're out there as you did before you got in. Maybe it's slightly colder. Maybe the current's slightly heavier. What looks like glass on the surface doesn't necessarily mean it's glass underneath. And if you're purely relying on confidence instead of structure, you can get caught out really quickly. The strongest swimmer is not always the person who gets in the water. Sometimes the strongest swimmer is the one who decides not to. That takes maturity, especially emotionally, because humans hate backing out of a decision once ego becomes attached. We want to prove something right, not only to ourselves, to the group around you. But you know what? The sea doesn't care about pride. And that's why preparation matters so much. Before swims, I used to assess tide timings, wind direction, exit routes, visibility, boat traffic, water temperature, recovery capacity afterwards. These are not things that I stood there and verbally said out loud to the rest of the crowd. These were mental observations because I paused. I took note. Some of it I'd done leading up to the walk on the internet, finding out the wind direction, finding out the tide times. Down there, I would speak to the locals about how people felt it was this morning. Get a gauge. But again, one of the biggest variables is emotional state. People massively underestimate how emotion alters perception. If you enter the cold water angry, emotionally overwhelmed, trying to escape life, trying to prove something, your nervous system is already compromised before the swim even begins. And that changes decision making dramatically. Preparation creates calm because uncertainty creates stress. The more variables you remove before, the more capacity you retain when pressure arrives. That principle extends into life beautifully. People think calm is personality. It often isn't. Calm is frequently preparation. People who appear composed under pressure usually have systems, structure, awareness, contingencies. They reduce unnecessary chaos before impact arrives. And that is one of the core ideas within the equilibrium method. Regulate before impact. Most people try to regain balance after chaos hits, but stronger systems prepare beforehand. And that applies to relationships, to mental health, to business, to cold exposure, training, conflict, hell, life itself. And honestly, this became one of the most powerful lessons the sea ever taught me. Preparation is not weakness, it's intelligence. Awareness is intelligence. Humility is intelligence. Because the ocean punishes arrogance very quickly. One of the most mature things a person can learn is when not to enter the water. And weirdly, that lesson applies everywhere else too. Sometimes strength is restraint. Sometimes wisdom is stepping back. Sometimes regulation means refusing emotional impulsivity. And in life, modern life, that's becoming increasingly rare. Most people are emotionally reactive constantly. The sea taught me to slow down, assess properly, think clearly, respect conditions, and understand that surviving pressure often begins long before pressure arrives. Some days the bravest decision is not getting in the water at all. And that level of awareness, that can save your life.